This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are sharing our top 5 totally unnecessary Disney stresses that happen when you're planning a Disney vacation. Stay tuned to hear which ones you can ignore. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us, but it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hey, Carrie.
Hi.
Hi.
I kind of miss you.
Do you?
Because I can't see you.
You want to tell people what's going on?
Well, there's just been a bit of this, there's been a bit of an internet saga happening over on my in my castle.
So, at Shea Carrie?
Yeah, so working on it, and it's supposed to be better internet, but I've been sounding like a robot as we've been preparing for this. So we turned off our videos in hopes that it'll help, but then we never do this where we can't see each other. How are you going to see my facial expressions? How are you going to see me make hand gestures instead of saying something?
Exactly. Like this is how we used to do it in the very, very beginning, Carrie.
I don't even remember.
I know. It was that long ago. But then we said we needed to be able to see each other because then, like, what happens with hand gestures and signals and facial expressions and blah, blah, blah. So then we started doing it with video. But you know what? Maybe this is the way to go because the people listening to us can't see us.
It's going to add a whole other level to this experience for them and us.
Maybe. So we're going to give it a try. We're going to give it a try this time. We've got no video, so we can't see each other.
Well, and you've stopped stuttering since we turned off the cameras. And I'm sure I've done the same.
Yeah. Now I can actually hear what you're saying. So this is going to be fun. Let's see how this works out. Maybe this will be how we do it in the future.
Maybe.
Okay. But it's funny because then when you're silent there for a second, I don't know whether I lost you.
That's right. And I'm not going to know I'm not going to know that you started laughing until you start wheezing for air.
Well, you can imagine. But yeah, that's what happens. Okay.
I think I'll know.
You'll know.
Yeah,
you know.
I know. Anyway,
I think we know each other well enough that I could probably close my eyes and imagine what you look like while you're talking right now.
True.
The only question that ever comes up when I can't see is there a cat there with you?
There is.
Okay,
yep.
Figaro?
Yep.
The triangle.
Yes. He's shaped like a pear.
You know when you see those things online about women and like, are you an apple or a pear or
yeah,
like an orange?
Figaro is definitely a pear.
Yeah, I think he kind of looks a bit triangle like from behind.
It's just the angle.
Camera adds 10 pounds, you said?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, Carrie.
Yep.
Today's topic.
Yes.
This is a good one. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Me too.
Because we've kind of talked around it a little bit, and then now we're just going to dive right in. And this episode is about all of the unnecessary stresses of Disney. This is our 5 top ones. So this is not all of them. This is not like an exhaustive list, right?
Yeah, there's lots more, I'm sure.
We could have probably come up with 25 more if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm. But these are the big ones, we think.
Yeah, we decided to keep it to 5 and see how it went.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 5.
I'm nodding my head just in case when your eyes were closed, you couldn't sense that.
Okay, oh my gosh.
Okay, number 1.
Woohoo! You go.
Number 1 is the must-have dining reservations.
They are an unnecessary stress.
Yes, it's a stress that everybody feels, and maybe some stress maybe it is valid in some situations if you want lots of dining and you want lots of you want the top things, like maybe you could be a smidge stressed, I suppose. But we believe that there's just so much unnecessary stress around Disney dining reservations, and especially now that they have relaxed the cancellation windows, etc., that often you can get these reservations, and whether you get a reservation or not is not going to wreck your vacation.
Exactly.
So there's kind of two levels to that, right? Like, so
there is.
What do you think?
I'm same. And I think sometimes there's such stress on specific ones. Like I have people that'll say to me, we have to have Cinderella Royal Table. Like we just have to. And I think for them, it's such a big deal. It's such a stressful thing. And for me, I'm like, really? That's where you want to eat? Like in the grand scheme of how many places there are to eat at Walt Disney World, I don't know that any one dining reservation is going to make, the only one that's really, truly, absolutely in and of itself on its own, I've never dined there, is Victoria and Albert's. Otherwise, things that you love about some of these reservations can probably be found at other ones too.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
As a fire truck drives by my house while we're recording.
I didn't hear it. Yeah, and I think I think that there's just so like you said, there's so many, and there's so many you get depending if you want like the food is generally really great across the board, like the food and the actual eating of the food and the dining experience. You're going to get delicious food in many, many, many locations. You're most likely going to get excellent service as well, yes. Right? Like the bare bones of these dining experiences should be similar. It's just, there's just a whole lot of pressure and I think, there's a lot of things out, like groups online or whatever, they put a lot of pressure on, if you don't have these things on your trip, then, they're must-dos, they're absolute must-dos, so.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's such an unnecessary stress in trip planning. Like travel is, and sometimes we forget, for people that don't travel as often as we do, and for people like us, travel is stressful. Like it's stressful enough to get to the airport, get on the plane, like pick your seat, find out, honest to goodness, like it is very stressful to travel.
And with Disney, you have to make your dining reservations, pick your park pass reservations, master an app.
Yeah, like
be online at specific times. Like there's lots of other stressful things, like just to start with before that's just with a general vacation, like you said.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're trying to dismiss some of the stresses that really we don't think they need to be stresses.
No, like if you can book your dining, I find now that dining went from 180 to 60 days. Like most people have their vacation planned at least 60 days in advance. You try your best at the 60-day window to get what you want. If you can't get exactly what you want, there's lots of time to get the reservations that you want, right? Like
yeah.
And don't start, if you didn't get the Chef Mickey reservation on the night that you wanted, that your trip's ruined.
Exactly.
Because of it. Like.
Exactly. There's plenty of people that cancel. So reservations come up all the time. And even if you don't get it, there's lots of other things to do.
Well, and that's if you've never been to Walt Disney World and you are worried that you haven't planned things and that there's things that you're missing that are not going to make your trip awesome, like you're there for a couple hours and you realize that that's almost impossible.
Exactly. So that's number one.
Yep.
Must have dining reservations are an unnecessary added stress to this travel plan. Okay.
You do number two.
Okay. Number two. Room requests. Honest to goodness, people get so bent out of shape about what location of the room they are picking. And this is, so within Disney, when you book a room at Disney, say you book a pool view, a preferred room, a standard view, a animal lodge view of the savannah, these resorts are massive. Like, they're huge, right? Like, except for Bay Lake Tower and, what's it called? The Grand Destino that are upright. Most of them are huge and laid out.
Very expansive.
Yes. So location is, you are generally paying for the primo location. If you want to stay next to the main building at, Disney's Port Orleans, you're going to pay more for that room.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
But then within that category, people get very specific about within that category. Yeah.
Or actual room locations.
So, Carrie, I kid you not, I had a client once who booked 2 rooms at Disney's Grand Floridian. They did not book theme park view, so it wasn't like the primo looking at the theme park. It was like a standard view room. However, he not only sent me the building he wanted to be in, he sent me the room numbers. As in, like, I want, first room is 1, 2, 3, 4. The second room is 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Actual room numbers that someone, not because he had stayed in these rooms, but someone told him those were the best rooms to get.
The perfect rooms.
The perfect rooms.
Yeah.
So, Disney does not, how on earth are they going to find these 2 rooms for this man on his dates and block them out from anybody else?
Well, that's A, not going to happen.
It's ridiculous.
He has to hope that someone is checked out of his room.
Yeah.
That morning that he's checking in.
Yeah, it was a busy time too. So, long story short, man was very stressed about these room requests. And, as a good citizen, I called in, I put it on the file, I called in twice, I called the front desk. Each time they kind of chuckled and humored me. And I explained to him, a request is a request. That's all it is. Are you going to get it? Probably not. He did not get the rooms he wanted.
Was his trip ruined?
No, he had a fantastic time and he loved the rooms he was in.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, and we're talking about, like you said, these resorts are ginormous. Like Pop Century, isn't there like 3,005 rooms or something like that, or 4,002 or whatever it is in the thousands and something. Like, there's got to be a whole lot of great locations.
Exactly. And it's so funny because he spent months stressing about getting these 2 rooms, the specific rooms, and in the end he was thrilled with the rooms that he had that were not the same. So unnecessary stress for no good reason.
And if you have some things that you like I know that sometimes people will put a certain building because maybe they've picked standard view or standard room knowing it's a bit farther away, but maybe if in another building is a little bit closer than the other buildings or whatever. Like if you have anything like that, like you can put those requests on the room. They're not guaranteed, but I do think Disney tries their best. Like, I think when they see those notes on the reservations, they try to accommodate them, right?
Oh,
but they
for
can't
sure.
accommodate everything. So yeah, like,
if they're able, they will do it.
They will. So I think it's if you do have anything that you're interested in specifically, like, it doesn't hurt, but
make the request, but don't be like stressing if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because like the rooms, like, it legit is the location of your room, because all of the rooms across the board are identical. There's no better room. There's no nicer decorations or decor or bigger closets or larger bathrooms.
Get a different bedspread.
There's no different bedspreads. The rooms are generally exactly the same comforts. It would be mostly, if you bought a standard room, but you really wanted to try to get closer to something that you didn't pay for, like a preferred room's close to transportation, right? So people will maybe try to figure out a strategy around getting a building location that's kind of close, but you don't have to pay for it, type of thing.
Pay for the preferred, correct.
But I think that's popular. But the actual room locations are, someone says, I want the same room as last time.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work.
The room the rooms that are 5 on either side are probably the same. Like, for the location benefit wise, if you were in, at least if you tried to get in that area or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, no need to stress about it. Like you said, I don't I don't think that you'd be too disappointed with your rooms. Either way.
Carrie, I've since discovered.
Well,
one of the problems with us not being on video.
Yeah.
So while you were talking, I put myself on mute to take a swig of my tea.
Oh.
And I started joking.
Oh no. So if you choke enough, I'm going to just think you're laughing.
I couldn't signal to you, like, keep talking because I'm joking.
That's why you should just
oh my goodness.
Not mute.
Yeah. Well, because sometimes I've heard it on the podcast, like you can hear me drinking my tea.
Well, me too.
Oh
but,
my gosh.
But maybe we sip the tea for legitimate reasons. Because we're thirsty.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Okay. So that was unnecessary stress. Number 2 was making room requests.
Yeah. And
that you stress over. They're good to make, but just don't stress over them because they're just a request. You may or may not get them.
Yeah. No need to worry that it's going to wreck your vacation. It's a do or die. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
You'll get what you get and it'll be awesome. We hope. Okay, the next one is a bundle. It's a 2-for-1.
It's a twofer?
Yeah. So it's the stresses of rope drop and being a park warrior. We kind of thought at first we thought they might be separate, but then we're like, no, they're pretty much the same thing.
My gosh. So I'm looking at this list and I'm like, I thought we put these together. Then I see you enabled those before. Never mind. Go on. It is 5.
It is 5, yes, because this is our number 3, the rope drop and the park warrior pressure. So, yeah, like there's a lot of pressure to feel that you have to be at the parks bright and early in the morning. And which entails being up very, very early, having yourself and your children bathed, dressed, fed into the bus stop at a very, very early morning. Everybody's got like granola bars hanging out of their pockets for when they get on the bus.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't suit your family, then there's ways to plan around that. So maybe I tend to think that you might need to, sometimes you might maximize your day if you could squeeze in 1 rope drop or 2, but if it's not it's not necessarily to do it all. You could plan accordingly or to not feel like you do it every single day. Or the second part is the park warrior pressure, like to be at that park bright and early again, so earlier up, and then to feel like if you don't spend every minute of the day in the park, you're not going to get enough stuff done. You're not going to have the exact experience that you're supposed to have.
You're not going to maximize your experience. You're not
going to maximize your experience, what you're paying for this trip, whatever, right? Like, and that's, some people, park warriors is what they do, and they go from morning to night, and they love it. Everybody in the family's happy, and it's exactly as they want to do. But like, there shouldn't be the pressure that you have to do that, because there's so many other things to do as part of your Walt Disney World trip, like enjoy your resort. Yeah. Enjoy other resorts and like the transportation options, the just doing anything outside that the Walt Disney World has to offer, instead of just being in the parks from morning till night.
Well, I think that's where it's so specific to your family. And if you think that you have to be in the parks morning to night, but you're the kind of family where you've got teenagers and getting them up at 6 a.m. to get showered and ready to be at the bus stop at 7 is just not going to happen. Don't force it. Exactly. Maybe you get to the park a little later and you stay later. Maybe they have extra magic, or you're staying longer, or you're maximizing the nighttime hours. Maybe you're just there. You're only in the park for a few hours a day. It has to be what makes sense for you. And that whole go mentality is great for some people. Like, I have friends who, they could not sit still for more than 10 minutes. That's just who they are. They would be the ones that would happily get up at 6 a.m. to be at the park for rope drop and stay till the end of the day. Because that's the kind of energy they have.
Yeah.
But not every family works that way, and not everyone in every family works that way.
That's a big thing, I think, like understanding. And, you know, at the start of a vacation, everybody's excited, and you can usually get a couple of days, a couple of long days where everybody is, you know, ready to go and is on the same page. But then as the days go on and you're tired and, you know, there's other things, the kids want to go in the pool and there's other things that are coming, like they've seen everything that's there that you know, they want to start maybe to do other things, or they don't, or they're just tired, like just straight out tired, like they can't
straight up tired,
just straight out tired, like that's like,
yes,
that's just what happens, right? Like you'd have to be, I know a family that, like, no joke, it's a family of 4 and they are park warriors. And I'm telling you, all of them are in it to win it. Like, no joke. They probably huddle at the front of the day. They I'm sure they put their hands in and they're like, whoa, team. And they go from morning to night. And I am 100% sure that every single one of them enjoys every single minute of it. So, like, it does exist. Like, there are people that are like that, but don't feel the pressure that you have to do that too, because I think when you're there, if you did diversify the things that you did during the days, like maybe like, who doesn't go on vacation and doesn't want to sleep in some days, right? Like, to think that you're going on a vacation and and there's no sleeping in. 7-day vacation, no sleeping in.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And like, the whole point of it is, like, that park warrior family you're talking about, if everyone in that family is happy at the end of the day with how they spent their day, then that's the perfect vacation for them. But, you know, just saying for the sake of, you need to maximize every minute, you got to be in the parks, you got to be running around. If that doesn't make you and your family happy, don't do it. Like, ignore the pressures and the stresses of people telling you that you have to make sure that you get everything in, that you're in the parks all day, that, like, you basically don't take time to sit at your resort by the pool and chill and have a pina colada or nap, or, you know, this is vacation. You leave your life to rejuvenate and have some experiences that make you happy. And it really, that to me is one of my biggest pet peeves about people going to Walt Disney World, and you spend all this money, you go there, you take your family, your kids out of school, you plan, and then you're not happy because you were so busy trying to make sure that you did it all. So that is, not a good thing. Yeah,
for sure. And I think even and regardless of whether you're the park warrior or you've diversified what you do during the day, you like you said, you do the other things, like, you're still gonna find the exact same value in your trip, right? Like, if the park warrior thing was like the best thing ever and everyone got along and everyone loved it, you understand at the end of your trip the value of what you got out of this vacation. But you also will, you know, because the other things that will happen when you stop and slow down, right? Like maybe the extra pixie dust you might find with some of the cast members, or the interactions you have, or maybe the kids make friends by the pool and they love that, or whatever. You find the kids love the park at the resort. Like, whatever it is that you do, you go to Disney Springs and have the most amazing meal you've ever had. Like everything that you experience, even if you will see the value, and you'll be happy with what you've done. And I think the pressure is that, like you before you see how much you've spent on this trip and how long it takes to plan and how confusing it was and how stressful it was.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to make it, you worry that that you're going to get the value and it's going to be everything that you dreamt of. But we're saying that don't worry. It's all going to be good. We promise you.
It will.
We've been talking Disney to people for a long time. And it'd be very, 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 very rare that someone would come back and say, that wasn't what I expected. You know, I just feel like, you know, it wasn't right for our family. Disney's mastered how to make a vacation that has something for everybody. So, and anyways.
So that was our number 3, the park warrior pressure / rope drop pressure.
Yeah, we went a little.
Those are unnecessary stresses.
I think I unnecessarily went a little too far on that. But do you get my point, people?
We get it.
Chill out. Not as chill as we are, though. We're not trying to tell people to be chill like us, where we don't make park pass reservations and we sit around on benches all day. We're just saying...
Where we wake up in the morning and go, what do you want to do today? Kind of like Phineas and Ferb, remember? I know what we're going to do today. Oh, okay. Number 4. Carrie.
Yep. This one's yours.
Oh, this one's mine. Yep. Okay. Unnecessary stress is capturing the perfect gram. And by that, I mean Instagram, Facebook, the social media pictures, chasing the Instagrammable hashtag photos is completely unnecessary pressures. So if you look online, there are things like the purple wall, there a bubblegum wall. You must have a Dole Whip. You must have a Casey's hot dog. You must have, like, there are certain things that are hashtagged and a big part of the Disney online social space that people will literally plan their trips around making sure they get them. And I'm all for it. If you're a hot dog aficionado and, you know, those are your things, absolutely go to Casey's. If you've never had a Dole Whip and you think this is something that you would love to try, go for it. But it's not the end of the world if you don't get that picture. To come back and post and say, I did all of the quote unquote cool Disney things. Right? There are so many things. Like, Carrie, I know people that will go and buy food or do certain things that they don't even like just for the picture.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Right? And that drives me crazy.
Instead of the Instagram list, you need that list of what you want to do.
Exactly. Like, you know, it just, stop doing it. Because you're not, you know, I still don't even think I know where that bubblegum wall is. But you see people that they're planning things around the things that they must try because those are the pictures they need for when they get back. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just think that you need to plan around and stop stressing about that kind of stuff. Every picture you take while you're there, unless you're fighting with your kids or having a meltdown, and quite frankly, those are funny, will be an Instagrammable pic, right? They will be great pics. We have pictures of Andrew when he was a kid and he was having a meltdown. They're the funniest things I've ever seen of him in Epcot. We actually have a picture of him, and it was like this, and this was before cell phones, right? So you didn't take 700 pictures because you only had so much film. But we have a picture of Andrew, and it was literally seconds after he had just kicked his mother in Epcot. He was having a meltdown, and she put him in like a timeout on a bench at the back of the American Pavilion. And oh my goodness, she was sitting on the bench, and he got up and he turned around and he kicked her. And I think it was me that just happened to snap the picture. So like his leg is right up. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
That is awesome.
So, right? So it doesn't matter. Just take the pictures and they'll all be worthy of your social media.
I had a friend that was there about a month ago, and she was sending me pictures all week of the kids having fun, and it was awesome. Like, she was just every day she'd send me a few pictures, and these boys were having a blast, right? And they were just such fun pictures. And then she sent me and they're just random pictures, right? Like just them, you know, waiting for the parade or whatever. And she sent me the one picture of them in front of the castle, and the one little guy is like miserable, like he's like crying or whatever. And this is funny, like and she had been sending me these pictures all week long of just them having fun. And then she sent me, like, I'm pretty sure it was in front of one of the big things. Like, I think it might have been the castle or whatever, but like, you know, the picture that you're supposed to take of your family, and he's miserable. And then, but she tells me the byline of it is like, because I've been watching this kid having his best life ever in all these pictures, but like I think that it's because she forced him to go in the picture. Like, he was over to the side doing something he really, really, really wanted to do. And it was sort of like, come and do the picture. And he wanted nothing to do with it. So like the story behind that is funny too. It's sort of like, you know the story of kicking mom before the picture happens. But like the story for this is this kid that is like, smiling and having his best life ever in 99 of the 100 pictures. This one miserable picture that's in front of the castle, or like, the picture that you're supposed to have for your family, is that he's really not miserable in this picture. It was just that he probably, was over, playing with his toy that he just bought or doing something, whatever. And Mom said, get in here for the picture. And he was being a bit of a Disney diva, let's say.
And those are the great memories.
Yep, exactly. Like that's just the story behind the pictures. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Take the pictures in the moment of your experience and not try to make an experience out of a picture. Mm-hmm. So do it in the reverse. Oh, we have this other picture. I got to tell you, this one's funny. And so we were in the Magic Kingdom one night and we were leaving. I think it was just after the fireworks and everybody was leaving. And there was this family over by, they used to have, I think they still do. It's kind of like the railing, like the hand railing around, right in front of the ice cream store. Mm-hmm. And it's like the wire fence, like the wrought iron fence. There was this kid, and it's awful because he was really upset. There were these two kids. The one kid had his leg through between the poles of the wrought iron, and his parents were screaming, "Come on!" because the kids weren't coming with them. And the one kid was screaming, "He can't! His leg is stuck!" And they were, oh my gosh, and it's so stupid, but it was so funny. And the one kid was screaming, the other one was stuck, and it was like the funniest thing. And we both just happened to see it at the same time, and then we both looked at each other. And Carrie, it was like the funniest thing for some reason that both of us had ever seen. You know when you see something really stupid, mm-hmm. but it just makes you laugh? And for no good reason. Like, this poor kid was stuck in a fence, and that's horrible. His parents, I'm sure he was fine. But, like, Andrew and I started laughing. I thought I was going to wet myself. So the next night, Andrew and I took a picture right there with our legs up in it so that we would always remember that moment.
That's awesome.
But those are the pictures that make, like, when we look back on them, they bring memories. Like, you running to the purple wall is not necessarily, like, it's just a stress you don't need. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think we beat that one to death, don't you? Yep. But oh my gosh, I got to go find these pictures because I have them somewhere and they're hysterical. Oh my gosh, we laughed. Okay, Carrie, we're on number 5. Yep. What's number 5?
The very last one on our list of unnecessary Disney stresses is these community Disney Facebook trip planning Walt Disney World groups.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And I guess some of the, like, the TikTokers and stuff like that where everybody's in the comments, same sort of thing.
Yeah. I guess social media in general, but there's definitely...
But the Facebook ones are pretty bad.
There's definitely groups for, like, planning to go to Walt Disney World or Walt Disney World fans, like, where people that are in these groups, like, they've been 100 times or they've never been before, and they go to them to post questions about their trip planning or to share their experiences and whatever. And they can get kind of stressful when you're planning a trip.
I think they're incredibly stressful. So we're not saying don't go in the groups or whatever.
For sure.
We're saying, well, some of them, quite honestly, Carrie, I know lots about Disney and I have left plenty of them. Mm-hmm. Because you're not even, sometimes I send you stuff and you're like, oh, I'm not in any of them.
The only community groups I'm in is, we have some Canadian pin trader ones. I'm not even in any, I don't even think I'm in any pin trading groups beyond the Canadian Pin Traders, which is run by my friend, and then PixieDustFan.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in any other Disney groups because I was feeling anxiety.
Did you see this? And you were like, nope, I'm out.
It gives me anxiety, like as a like planning travel and for being just a Disney fan. Like I couldn't, like, I see the stuff that people talk about and it just kind of, I don't know, it just gives me stresses. So like years ago, and I'm sure there's like 100 times more groups now. Like this was years ago where I said I'm not going to do this. But I know like you pay attention to some of these things, and I do have friends that are in quite a few of these groups. And yeah, like it's still going strong. All of this
oh my goodness, Carrie,
stuff that happens in there.
It's incredible. Like, there's so much pressure in terms of planning every minute detail. There's so much pressure in terms of everybody's got an opinion about what's best. Mm-hmm. And they are opinions, but yet people take them as facts. And that stresses me out when I see a first timer planning a vacation in one of these groups getting, information from somebody else who went 6 years ago once. And it's just so bad. And everybody kind of works them into a frenzy. So that completely stresses me out. And then there's horrible comments back and forth. People are mean. Mm-hmm. And then there's just like the whole, like people are so mean, Carrie, that honest to goodness on my page, I have to, if a post is doing really well, I have to go through and ban people from my page for all of it. Do you know somebody, I posted this thing. So here's a little sidebar rant for Fran. I posted, they used to give out these tickets in Walt Disney World years and years and years ago. And it was like, you got a ticket for speeding in your stroller or something like that, right? Like they were in park, almost like security. And my sister once got a ticket for sitting in the smoking area and not smoking, right? She was taking up a seat. So the guy came over and wrote her a ticket like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here, because there were 3 of us smoking and she wasn't. So I posted that and said, like, this is a great throwback. Do you know that I had people commenting about how messed up it is to encourage people to smoke? And then there was an entire, so I wasn't watching the post for a few hours, and there was an entire political debate on a ticket with Mickey Mouse on it. Like, yeah. Come on. So like those groups can have all of that stuff in it too, like all the negativity of the world. And then there's just the drama. There's always drama.
Yeah.
With different Disney people in the parks, banned from the parks, not liking each other, blah, blah, blah. There's always that stuff. So they're not always magical.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think from the planning perspective too, like there's, like you see all kinds of stuff where people are giving advice on how to save the most money, how to get the best reservations, whether you're following the rules or not. Like there's all kinds of
yes.
how to get things for free by maybe by ways that you're like complaining about things or whatever, right? Like there's like that's all out there too, which again causes a lot of pressure, like thinking you know nothing about Disney and you're in these groups and you're being bombarded. Like some of these groups I'm sure have like 100 posts a day, probably some of the bigger ones.
Yes.
Right? So like the stresses of that, the all the information coming at you at every single angle. Like as many people are going to say that's the best experience, as many people are going to say that's the worst experience and it wasn't worth anything. It wasn't worth the money they paid for it. Right. Like, so you have everything so opposite sometimes too, that you again, and trying to figure out what the heck is right for you. So if you're in these groups, you can be in them if you can handle them, if they're your thing, then go for it. But if you're feeling that they're overwhelming, then leave the group.
Yes,
you're going to be able to plan your vacation, whether you're in that group or not. You can turn off notifications too, right? That was another thing I did in some of the groups is, so I only go in them when I want to, meaning I'm not getting notified all the time when there's a new post. Yeah.
So that felt a little less overwhelming, but it's almost like a fire hose, right? So imagine you're planning your very first trip and you go into those groups and you ask a question. It is like being sprayed with a fire hose, and God forbid you go in there and ask, does anybody have a travel agent you can recommend?
Yeah.
Oh my good God. Everyone's recommending their brother, their mother, their sister, their father, and then themselves. And then you're going to be inundated with private messages and all of this and that's just one question.
Yeah.
So imagine how overwhelming that feels. And you haven't even got to the part of booking the trip yet.
And you don't even know any, like, you don't know any of these people. So why would you take their recommendation? Especially for something like, can you recommend a travel agent? Like, every single person in North America, if you're standing in a room, probably there's a number of people that have just been on a Walt Disney World vacation.
Exactly.
You just got to mingle and ask your friends who they used or what did they do or what's their advice on doing that. The fact that you're asking people that you don't know that are most likely going to end up like maybe bullying you for the question that you asked.
Yeah. I know, you'd see people ask like the most innocent questions and people jump down their throat. Like, it's just, yeah. So sometimes those groups to me are very unnecessary. Like, I have an elderly lady that, I'd say elderly. She's probably, now I think about it in my age, she's probably not that much older than me. But she was like, I was in this Facebook group and I don't know what to do. I'm behind. We want to go in the fall and I feel like I've missed the boat. Like, do I still have time to plan anything? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't even planned my trip for 2 weeks from now. Like, relax, we're good.
No problem. Well, and I think too with Disney, with there being lots of changes over the last number of years too, like, you know, when you can book your dining and when you can do this stuff, like, there's not all of the information maybe like maybe straight either or relevant or whatever, right? So
yeah, like sometimes you're taking advice from someone that went 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, they went 10 years ago. They love it. They follow all the blogs, the vlogs, the blah, blah, blahs. But they're giving you advice based on some outdated information of their experience. So you just, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. And if they're stressing you out, leave.
Yeah. And I'm sure, and there's so many groups, like, I'm sure there's a group for you, right? Like, there's a group there's probably a group that would be better suited, maybe a smaller group, or maybe one that's more specific to your your family or whatever, where you live or whatever. Like, you know.
Local groups sometimes are better too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, it's so hard though, Carrie, because when, like, I deny more people than I let into my group, which is a sad state of affairs. But I ask questions before I let them in, and then I boot people. Like, Disney is meant to be happy. It's a happy place. It's my happy place. It's your happy place. So if you're not happy, then get out. Right? That's not to say bad things don't happen, and sometimes your experience is less than magical. Sure. But you know, we need to put it in perspective.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, those are the unnecessary stresses of Disney vacation travel.
Dum dum dum.
Dum dum. Okay, so Carrie, that was a good topic.
Yeah, it was good.
It was very good. Now we're at the part of the podcast, Carrie.
Yeah.
We're going to ask for a rating and review before you give your pixie dust.
Yes.
So if you're on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review and share the podcast with someone who you think might like it. Yes. That was my little spiel. Carrie.
Good job.
What brought you pixie dust this week?
Well, I guess it's sort of pixie dust.
It's sort of pixie dust.
Yeah. It's
kind of,
it's kind of, I don't know if it's it might be a little embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we started recording, I asked if you had pixie dust and you said you weren't sure, you might have something embarrassing, and I said, don't tell me because I want to hear it for the first time on the podcast. So are you going to use it?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Oh, but I can't see your face. Okay, go on.
Want me to turn the camera on?
No, go on. Let's do this whole episode no camera. Cold turkey.
Figaro had to get a part-time job.
What?
Figaro. He had to get a part-time job.
Figaro the cat?
Figaro my cat. Figaro? He's sleeping right now. He had to get a part-time job.
Doing?
Mouser.
Oh no.
And we didn't
Oh no.
We didn't need to know that we needed to hire a mouser until the mouse was in his mouth.
Oh no, you're kidding me.
Yeah. So
why is that embarrassing? He's a cat. He's supposed to catch mice.
But I had some mouses in my house.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Who hasn't?
I don't know. We don't have mice in our house. Is this a normal thing?
Well,
now,
growing up.
It is winterish, so like I know they try to go inside, but like I could. So I think I talked a couple podcasts ago about how, you know, I was joking about when you have a cat and them sleeping all day long and wanting, like, as soon as spring is sprung or the sounds of spring, the birds start chirping, the kitties want to go outside or whatever. So right. I do, like, often, like, just open my front door at this time of year to let them go sit on the front step. But I got stuff to do. I got to get ready for work. I'm cooking dinner. Sometimes, like, I leave the door, like, open a little crack because I figured, whatever, if something scares them, like a leaf falling from the tree, they'll just run, they'll just push the door open and come in. So I don't know if they're getting in the house some way from like a traditional way that a mouse gets in the house, or if it was from me, like, because I do that at this time of year because I really don't want to stand outside in the cold while they like sniff grass for 5 minutes. So it could be that, but there wasn't just one. It's happened twice now.
Oh no! Well, because they do say if you you don't have a mouse, you have mice.
They're little, and they're baby mice. They're babies.
Oh, they're babies.
The little babies have, all right. Well, the ones that we caught, that Figaro caught. And again, we didn't know. And so...
well, they tell their friends, right? Like, if they found a good plaid, they tell their friends.
Yeah, so again, the first time we found out, because Figaro had one in his mouth and then was playing with it. And then, like, this is recent. Then you know, the first one happened, and I think also, no, I don't think I mentioned Charming when I was talking about the cats the last couple times ago, but my cat Prince Charming, he legit sleeps like 21 hours, 22, 23 and a half hours a day. Like, this cat legit sleeps on the couch or sleeps on the bed or sleeps under the bed, and other than that, he eats, he drinks, he uses a litter box. Like, that's it. Like, en route to those 2 locations, that's it. That's all he does. That's all he does. Like, legit. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Aww. He lives a pretty, like, Garfield, stereotypical cat life. And anyway, so the first mouse happened. And then I was in the kitchen, and Prince Charming was staring in between the counter and the fridge, like the little slot. And I said, I think we have another mouse. Because this cat that never ever, like, you really only see him en route to the food or to the litter box, or he's in one of those 2 places sleeping. That's it.
Oh, no.
And he was just kind of hanging out, staring down the little whatever. And then, lo and behold, when things got a little bit quiet in the evening, Figaro punched the clock, started a shift, caught another little baby mouse. So
Carrie.
My pixie dust is that, thank goodness he's quick on his job. Like, you know, I don't have, like, I'm sure there's more, so I guess that's a bit of a worry, but at least I got a cat he
needs a raise.
Out of the cats I've got, like, I've got a mouser, and I know that if there's more to come, that at least Figaro's on the job, and as soon as he sees them, he'll catch them, and then we can, like, pick it up by its little tail and toss it out the front door. Aww, so that's, I guess,
little things.
I guess my pixie dust is that Figaro's doing a good job.
He's doing a good job.
But it is, like, it's kind of, I don't know if that's really pixie. Carrie, I didn't know what, like, the fact that he caught the mice is pixie.
He caught them. That is good.
So, yeah.
The townhouse that I grew up in, we forever, like, and it's not, because it's not a sign of, like, you have an unclean house or whatever. It means you have an opening in a warm house, and they happened to be walking by and saw the door was open. like squeak, 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 squeak. Right? They're like, I'm coming in. And there were a few years where, like, knock wood, I've never had them in this house, but it's probably because my downstairs is so flipping cold, they'd rather stay outside. But yeah, we used to have them when I was growing up in the house. Every couple years in the winter, we would end up with some. And my dad was terrified of mice. Terrified. Yeah.
I've never really been close enough to know that I should be terrified. But a funny thing, I'm gonna tell you a funny thing. So like the last time it happened, like all like it's like again, it's in the middle, like later in the evening when things are a little bit quieter, and all I hear is like care, and I'm like, Figaro caught another mouse, right? And because you know what I heard?
Oh,
like all I heard was a little mouse going.
oh.
So that's probably Figaro had him like, whatever he does, puts him in his mouth, holds him down. I don't know, but I could hear the little mouse like screaming, squeaking,
and then
squeak scream.
So you just chuck him outside?
Yeah, and then they probably just walk around the house, go back in the hole if that's the case, and come back in.
You're so smart. I'll just come back in later.
That cat didn't scare me. He wants to play with me. He doesn't have the guts to finish me off. I'll go back in that house. I'm
all
willing.
I can imagine right now is Cinderella and Gus and Lucifer.
Yeah. Well, and again, I guess it's good to know that your cat's, got what it takes. Like considering, like, no joke, when Figaro was out on that front step and like at this time of the year, when little leaves blow, or in the fall when the leaves fall, like no joke, in the fall when a leaf falls from the tree, like he runs back inside, like his hair, he gets a mohawk down his back and he runs in the house. So you think, well, I guess, he's kept some of his instincts. So anyways, hopefully that amused everybody a little bit.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's my pixie dust. I got it. Figaro's not a dud. Like the other two. Hey, buddy, did you want to? He's
very athletic. Much more athletic than you gave him credit for.
Figaro, say something.
Are you?
Figaro.
I was gonna say, are you there?
He is. Figaro. You don't want to talk, eh? If we didn't invite you into this conversation, you'd be squawking like nobody's business right now. Now you got nothing to say.
That's how it works.
Okay, what's your pixie dust?
Mine is definitely not quite as exciting. I was at Rona with Andrew the other day, and I was looking for glue, plastic glue, because I was going to try and fix something. So I normally buy like crazy glue. I have all this crazy glue around my house because, I fix stuff that way. But I needed glue specific for plastic because I needed it for that. So we get to Rona and I'm looking for the glue aisle, and God love Andrew.
Where's this going?
we get to the glue aisle and I'm like, can you help me? I need glue for plastic. He's like, why are you asking me this? How would I know this? I'm like, Andrew, how do you propose you're going to fix something when I'm not here? When I'm dead and gone, how are you going to fix things for your, and because normally if he needs something fixed, he calls me. So I said to him, for God's sakes, I'm going to kill you. Can you just help me out here? Well, anyway, this man heard me talking to him, and away he went, and he came back with this package in his hand, and he's like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was eavesdropping, and I really don't want you to kill this young man. And he had like this glue for plastic, and he's like, here, I can recommend this when it works. The man did not work there. He did not work there. He was an older gentleman. He was so lovely. He came back with this thing, and he's like, here, this one will work really well for you. And I'm trying to save this young man here. And Andrew's like, oh, gee, thanks, buddy, because I was in the doghouse.
That's the best.
So he saved my nephew from me giving him grief, and I got my plastic glue. So I'll let you know how it works.
That's fun.
But he was so nice, because when he walked away, like, I thanked him very much, and as we were getting to the counter, I'm like, Andrew, he didn't work here, did he? And he's like, no, he was just another shopper. And I think that's so lovely. Like, strangers don't talk to each other enough these days, and so yeah, it was very nice. It was very nice. He helped me out, and he was a lovely man, and yeah, it was a nice interaction.
That's cool. I like that.
That's my pixie dust. One. Yeah, that's it is. Funny. Sometimes it's nice to talk to people you don't know, and just be kind. So that was my pixie dust. All right, Carrie, we babbled enough for another week.
Yeah. And, I think our pixie dust. My pixie dust, because you can manage to like control it. Your pixie dust. It was probably just as long as the episode. That was the meat and potatoes of the episode. So I'll stop now, or else it'll just be even longer. Bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you guys are going to have to let us know if you managed to get all the way to the end of the episode, how we did without video. Did you notice a difference? Because, I can imagine what Carrie looks like right now, but I don't know. So this was completely blind. Let us know how we did. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.
I already said goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.